Yeah, well, again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Thomas Webster and the team at NRI. Thank you, Ozaid, for your partnership as always. We, as a nation, we are a nation in transition. It's almost 40 years on since independence, and we feel that sometimes we're going to make the giant leap. And we felt the timing is now. If it is not now, then when will we do it? And as far as our focus of delivery is concerned, every government, the focus is always the same: health, education, infrastructure, law and order. But the way we've been doing business in the past maybe were more focused on the central agency and wagony-based bureaucracy. And we've seen, and as part of those arguments, in 1995, government structured or restructured itself, and in the process tried to remove a three-tier system of government. And so on the face value of it, said we do away with the provincial government system, but we still maintain the structure of delivery at the provincial level. And the organic law, the reform on the organic law on provincial and local level government, passed most of the expectations of delivery of services to the sub-national government, at the provinces, at the districts, and at the LLGs. Creation of the Joint District Budget Planning and Priority Committee, for instance. The creation of ward planning committees, for instance. The creation of the provincial joint provincial planning and priority committees, for instance. All those were created by law. And in some instances, some commentators thought we were reinventing the wheel, so to speak. But it all arrived from one common focus, and that was that bulk of Papua New Guineans were placed at the sub-national and the lower level of government. That is where you find 90% of Papua New Guinea. And this 90% of Papua New Guinea were not adequately being fed and clothed and being schooled and being cared for by doctors at where they were. So identifying those deficiencies of government service delivery mechanisms, those reforms were put in place, but 1995 to today is almost 20 years. By 2015, it will be 20 years. We have never met that reform commitment. Those commitments made in law were, for instance, the ward elementary school is supposed to be addressed by the council and the president. The primary school by law is to be addressed by the district. The high schools, provincial high schools by law is to be addressed by the provincial governments, and correspondingly the health sector likewise. The provincial roads and the district roads likewise, all encapsulated and spelled clearly by law, but there were never matching funding appropriation by the national government to these key delivery sectors at the sub-national, at the district level. So, and I could understand why my predecessors were quite hesitant in delivering so, because at the time our budget capacity was small. We had a huge recurrent component of budget expenditure. Our recurrent budget component really dig deep into government's affordability to channel money into development components. So we never really met those intentions of law in as far as the organic law on province and local level government was concerned. But as a government, we took bold stand in our last budget. We felt that we must now give money where our mouth is. And as far as our provincial government is concerned, and as far as our district is concerned, we must put money to them. And I must be the first to admit that capacity has been and is always a big concern. And we lack capacity in many of our districts, but let me paraphrase Prime Minister O'Neill's statement. We might as well have misspending. We might as well have misfiring happening at the districts and provinces than it has been happening in Waigani and Wulupindi House, where me and my secretary operates. In the last few years, we've had huge chunks of money. For instance, when in the last 7 or 8 years, when our budget continued to expand and we were having an increase in our revenue and we were posting positive economic growth rate, there were huge chunks of money parked at the central agencies. We know about the commonly known RESI funds, the commonly known agriculture funds, RESI funds parked in National Planning Department, for instance, and Education Department, agriculture funds parked in National Planning and Agriculture Department, health funds parked at the National Planning and the Health Department. But those were never directly channeled, effectively channeled to the districts and to the provinces. So, you know, as elected leaders, we had to really take deep stock in how we were doing business. And we said, all right, enough of centralized planning and keeping of funds here in Waigani. Let us channel it to the districts, and at the macro level, let's control the policy aspect, let's control the disbursement aspect, and let's control the monitoring aspect and the compliance and auditing aspect. So we have no regret at all in shifting the focus now of delivery to the provinces and districts. The challenge from the onset, let me say, the challenge that faced right into my eyes and into every stakeholder's eye is how we could manage those funds that are going there and to ensure that they achieve the desired outcome. And from the outset, let me say, we might not see, we might see minimal of that in this year, but as national government, we stand committed for the next 5 years to allow provinces and districts and LLGs to receive the full support from national government, and hopefully in the process we build capacity as we go along. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me start my discussion with these 3 comments. And let me also say that hopefully as I run through this discussion, you will know that the Department of Finance, in partnership with National Planning and Treasury and all stakeholders, we all can partner in helping us setting the standards of compliance and accountability correct. And the little I will present today can maybe give you an indication, and I kindly welcome recommendations from you learned members of the audience here. Next slide, please, Secretary. As again, let me the preambles of our focus of this year's budget. Amongst many policies we've had, the NEC Edition of 102, 2012 outlines again our key policies: transport infrastructure, health, education, economic growth, and law and order. This we feel are key impetus that can trigger, if we correctly focus on these sectors, they will trigger continual growth of our country. That's why, you know, knowing the revenue we've had, revenue of 2013, and within the context of medium-term and long-term revenue focus, we were confident in structuring a deficit budget this year. We know that our immediate needs of this year cannot match the revenue we have, but as we focused it, and Dr. Thomas Webster alluded to it, we structured a budget that will be part of a series of budget that will come in the next 3 or 4 years. And within those medium-term perspective, we were confident to structure this budget. Treasurer will come and give confidence to every one of us. With the high level of liquidity we have in our system, we are able to raise 2.6 billion kina confidently. Of that, 1.6 will be raised internally through Treasury bill and inscribed stocks, and the Treasurer and his team will be on the road, and we are confident in raising 1 billion kina to meet the total deficit we have planned for this year. So all this will go towards our key sectors. And as you know, from we have budgeted substantially. Next slide, please, Secretary. We have budgeted substantially to our provinces. Every provincial government nationwide will receive 5 million kina for each district that is within their area of responsibility. For instance, my own province of Hela, where I come from, we have 3 districts. And so the provincial government has received a sum of 5 million kina per district, equaling 15 million kina to support the provincial service improvement funds. Each district nationwide, again, as you all know by now, will receive 10 million kina per district. And the third appropriation is down to the local level government. Local level government is an important government right in the face of people all the time. And they have received very, very inadequate funding. In fact, since 1995, they've only received recurrent appropriations. No development fund has gone to them. And this is the first ever budget that development funds are now going straight to the local level government to support various local level government-based development programs at their level, like the elementary schools, like the community health posts, and the community law and order programs. Next slide, Secretary. The purpose of these development funds is to ensure that all these key sub-national government administrative centers have money and money for them to work. And as I said in my introductory speech, the organic law on provincial and local level government clearly spells out which level of services are to be provided for which sector. And I was giving you a reference to the education sector, giving you an example from the elementary school ward supposed to look after elementary school. Primary schools is for the district to address. High schools is for the province to address, and these are clearly spelled out, and we now hopefully through this arrangement can see the mechanisms work to allow these services to be funded. Next slide, please. We are structuring, and I will be finalizing a financial instruction in due course, hopefully by mid next week. We have it in draft right now, and as part of the financial instruction, we have broken down the appropriation to the provinces, districts, and LLGs, and it is broken down in this perspective, and the percentage really stems from the framework we have at the national level, so that hopefully together we can channel resources and make a difference in these key sectors we feel are priority sectors for the national government and for the country. 30% of them goes to key infrastructures like roads, airstrips, little jetties and marine infrastructures. 20% goes to health service improvement program, another 20% to education services improvement program, 10% to law and justice sector, 10% we feel must go to small economic activities. This is a continuation of the fund that we normally kept at the agriculture department but was abused at the national level, so we said let it go to the district level and allow the districts to manage, and the 10% is in the administration component of it. Next slide, please. The administration component is broken down in this manner: 3% general administration fee to pay for the allowances of our president, to ensure that meetings are properly held, to ensure that the JDP resolutions are in order, to ensure that plans are really put in place well. Another 3% to support the elected offices of the members in the district. You will know members of parliament do not. For me, I'm lucky, I'm a Minister of State and I have 8 staff working with me. But members of parliament do not have staff working with them. There's no support for them, and many times they struggle to ensure that they have an office running well in the electorate, and without proper guideline, we see members not putting money given to the districts properly, and we don't have all this support and accountability mechanisms in place. So we hope that through this administrative component we can address capacity of the office of member and capacity of the district offices up. And the other 4% is for project mobilization and ensuring that the districts get the correct technical expertise to support them. So we've given increase in this member administrative component so that we have an appropriation dedicated to support their capacity in the districts or in the provinces or in the ward, and they don't put the hand into money meant for the education sector, road sector, health sector. So that is where we've given it capacity. I will be especially focused on this aspect to ensure that members sourcing, district sourcing and LLG sourcing correct support, and we look forward to partnership in this instance. I offer one passing remark to maybe our development partners. That is where you can come in if you have expertise. Come in and partner districts and partner provinces to ensure that they get the basic district plan up and running well. They administer the disbursement of the rest of 90%, and in the long term, we hope to make impact in our provinces and districts. Next slide, please. Secretary, you can continue. This is a slide that talks about PSIP and the role of PSIP identifying projects, and the role of DSIP identifying projects and project formulation. Each provinces and each district will have project management team, district project management team or units put in place. And there's a document the Office of Rural Development has, which is called the project formulation document. There's a template to assist every district and every provinces to use the template, and hopefully we can structure our plans correctly through that. Secretary, next slide, please. I know my time is running, so I got to run through. Next slide. Allocation of funds will not be made unless sorry, let me rephrase this. Reallocation of funds will not be made. We have a fixed allocation proportion, as I already mentioned. Reallocation of this fund to other sectors will not be made unless the Secretary for Implementation and Regional Development feels that it is necessary, and I can understand in some instances the priorities elsewhere, for instance, in other areas, maybe like NCDC, the educational institutions might be okay, so the district in NCDC might say, all right, my priority is in the communication aspect, into IT or something else, and the only place where the JDPBC go back to ask is really at the Secretary of Department of Implementation and Regional Development. He is the one who will give that approval. Next slide, please. The provincial district administrator are the Section 32 officers at a district, and they are the chief accountable officers. And my department is working on some reform in the Finance Management Act. One of the reforms that we will be looking into is expanding Section 8 of the FMA. Section 8 talks about financial inspection. We'd like to beef up our financial inspection capacities by law and ensure that we go into these focal points, go to the provincial administrator and go to the district administrator and hold him or her accountable to the monies that is gone to him, or to the district and to the province and to the LLG. There will be a technical evaluation committee for each province and districts to evaluate quotations and tender bids, to recommend to provincial suppliers and tender boards for hours of contract. As you know, by now we are working to, and one of the amendments that will go through Parliament is to improve the ceiling of disbursement at a provincial level. We're lifting the ceiling from what it is today at 3 million, it will be to 5 million kina. So the CSTB's ceiling of disbursement and hour of contract is lifted from 3 million to 5 million. At the districts, we're lifting the ceiling of disbursement from 300 to 500,000. All recommendations from Technical Evaluation Committee will go through, as I said, 500,000 and above will go to the Provincial Supplies Tender Board, and contracts beyond 5 million kina will come to the Central Supplies and Tender Board. Secretary, next please. Treasury Department, in as far as our management of the annual cash flow is concerned, we'll be managing it very, very closely. Will not be spending on an ad hoc basis. Treasury will release development fund to finance and on a monthly and quarterly basis, and based on our request to them, and finance will in turn remit those to the provincial equivalent cash component to the provincial and district treasuries, and we hopefully will look at, and let me acknowledge my colleague, treasurer, who's just coming in. And we are starting, we're thinking of disbursing on a monthly and quarterly basis, and we plan by the end of October, November this year, when the new budget for next year is handed down, every district would have received its fullest appropriation. And to start off this, we're distributing 20% of provincial and district appropriations early this month, and we will start to roll on from there. We will manage the funds through a normal government PNG system. And let me announce also that I am at we'll extend the PNG system to the district and the ward level effectively. Finance department is working on a integrated finance management system that is not trial at the central office, but we'll link it up with the rest of the provinces later on. But for this year, it is the PNG system that we will use, and to ensure that districts are spending money in line with the appropriation that we've made. We also opening chart of accounts. We normally have chart of accounts and expenditure awards placed at the provincial level. We're now going down into the districts, and we will also expand into the LLGs, so that we know money meant for education is spent on education, money meant for health is spent on health, and it is appropriate in line with its expenditure awards, instead of money being pulled into a lump sum 10 million appropriation for them to use as discretion. We'll be giving the money, and we'll tick them off as they go. This money for health is being ticked, this money for education is being ticked, so that we know at the national level that we've approved, received, or we've had some level of achievements at the district in as far as percentage of disbursement to the sectors is concerned when we come to the final analysis of our rollout of budget for this year. Procurement process, as I was saying, I'm breaking it a little bit deeper now. At the district level, services below 5,000 kina, the district administrator and his district management team will ask for 3 verbal quotations. Services ranging from 5,000 to 500,000, we'll be asking for 3 written quotations required using pro forma contracts that normally Works Department and the Office of Rural Development has. We are jointly putting together the administrative guidelines for this one, so that it is not abused. So 3 pro forma contracts are required for that, and it comes by way of public advertisement at the districts, at the provincial headquarters, and so those who are there can also bid for it. We expect little minor works contracts to be given. At the provincial level, projects above 500,000 kina will have an authority to pre-commit subscribe to, that is approved at the finance department level, and we will approve every expenditures above 500,000, and the document called APC is an important prerequisite to this commitment. So based on the provincial plans and the district plans, it's ticked off, and when they come for APCs, we see that every ticks that needs to be ticked off are ticked off, and the funding is there, and we issue this approval to pre-commit document. Next slide, please. Claims should be accepted upon certification of delivery. So we hope that all this, as we tidy them at the district and at the provincial level, we hope that this system works. I will be personally out there with my department, making sure that compliance and inspection, compliance is done through the inspections that we will do. And I've notified governors and their provincial administrators in our meeting on Monday that you will see the Department of Finance and Department of Planning coming on interface regularly, and we hope that all this part of the basic issues of certification and the issues of compliance is added to at our sub-national level. Let me say that this year might be quite hard. This year they might adapt, but with finance and planning, assisting them. We hope to make sure that by next year and the next few years, it gets better from where we are today. As I said already, provincial administrators are key Section 32 officers at the provincial level. Next slide, please. Bank reconciliation. We expect by law, Section 11 of the finance, and it's a key aspect of the law that says there must be monthly bank reconciliation done. And I've alluded to the governors again on the Section 5 powers, Section 4 powers of the Finance Secretary in as far as his role is concerned. And if our provincial administrators, provincial treasurers, district administrators and district treasurers do not respond to a monthly bank reconciliation program, then they will be held accountable and responsible. Next slide, please. Secretary, our time's moved on. I've covered many of my reporting and monitoring. The reporting and monitoring systems put in place by law. The Treasury Department is supposed to put quarterly posting for public knowledge on which department has received, which provincial government has received what money, department received what money. The Treasurer has indicated that he will post this public advertisements up so that the nation knows what appropriation has gone to what sector or to what provinces, and hopefully that can also be part of the aid in as far as getting accounting and reporting is concerned. Audit and inspection. As I was alluding to earlier on, the Department of Finance will amend the Public Finance Management Act, especially Section 8, and we will give greater teeth and inspection. We have a unit in Treasury Department right now, the inspection unit. We hope to give greater teeth to them so that they can get out there on the spot check and ensure that those Section 32 officers at the province and at the districts are really complying and doing what they're supposed to do. If second last slide, punitive measures. I've made my indications known in the forum at Gateway on Monday that for those who do not comply, whether they are at the leadership level in as far as politicians are concerned, or leadership level in the public service, or leadership level at the private partner contractors level, we hope to ensure that there are punitive measures put in place, and they will comply. One of the punitive measures, for instance, I am thinking seriously, and many of them, we have contractors who get money and they don't deliver. You know, for instance, I have one contractor in my district. In 2008, I gave that contract because he secured a provincial supplies contract to build one of my key district roads. And so my district supports the contract value of 3 million by giving him that contract 1 million. That contractor never delivers 1 million in a word of contract. And so, you know, I tried referring him for prosecution, but we didn't have the teeth to continue on. And he still continues to operate today. We hope that some of the punitive measures we're looking at, and some of the measures I'm looking at really is like if contractors continue to default, then they're blacklisted. Treasurer, I'm making this announcement now. They're blacklisted from engaging in business in this country, whether they're local contractors or international contractors. So we're really looking at putting also punitive measures. We don't like to be cruel, but hopefully those punitive measures can safeguard many of our public funds we're putting to use or for use at the provincial levels, our district levels, and our LG levels. Ladies and gentlemen, I've said a mouthful. The fact is that we're giving money straight to the districts, to the provinces, and to the LGs. The fact is that we're now trying to put in place financial instructions and guidelines and making amendments in our Financial Management Act to ensure that the nation achieves the desired outcomes, to ensure that we house more than 1 million kids who are not yet in classroom, to ensure that our maternal mortality rate drops, our infant mortality rate drops, to ensure that our districts are connected to our national highways. And these are the reason why we're doing this, to make it more accountable and transparent in as far as delivery is concerned will take a lot more effort. We're trialing it out in 2013. National government's focus will still remain in our districts and provinces. We will still work the system to ensure that we reach a level of accountability and delivery to our people. And hopefully by the time we conclude this term of Parliament, our systems are all in place. And as the country continues to grow, the focus of delivery, as it will be to the districts and provinces, and funding given to them is ably supported by a delivery system that is transparent, accountable, and working for our people. We're doing our best. We ask for your help in as far as looking into our financial instruction and looking into the accounting and reporting systems we put in place. And your help together with us can make us achieve our money's worth of effort. Thank you, and God bless everyone.